Just how frustrating would it be to be fired at by an enemy drone and not be able to fire back? Well, in today's video we're going to be talking and building mini railgun drones, and yes, they are as deadly as they sound. So over the last few days, me and the LSG team have been playing with AI drones. We've been playing with small ones, big ones and everything in between, and we've been trying to work out some effective strategies on how to use them. And I am a bit worried about showing you this because I feel that this is a bit of a plague of a tactic that could consume a lot of servers and really devastate a lot of player bases. But if you know it's out there, then you're going to be able to have a response prepared at your base to respond to these micro drones when they do happen, rather than just being stuck there with no ability to respond. So make sure you're active in the comment section of this video and give us some ideas of how players could build to stop a drone like this. So let's start by talking about how effective this strategy is in Space Engineers. Now, I put this up against 5 AI bases, so these were bases that the players weren't defending, and this drone has some really good characteristics going for it, and the first one is its compact size. Now, the base drone is based off Daddy Damo's 3x3 railgun drone that you can find a link down to the description. That one of course doesn't have the AI features built into it, but it does have the power capacity that this little drone needs to both stay in the air and fire the railgun at a steady rate. And that's one of the most important factors when building a railgun drone, is you need it to be able to withstand the recharge sequence without falling out of the air. The second thing is the size of this little pocket drone. When the player sees this in the distance, if they manage to see it, it's an absolute speck, and since the AI turrets are out of range of it, it will require the player to manually lock on with the turrets. Now, the most effective way of dealing with a small drone like this would be using Gatling guns, but since this drone is sitting at 1,400 meters, it limits the weapons that the player can use to effectively take you out from inside their base. So that then forces them really to respond with fighters from their base. This is where I thought the drone would fall apart. A fighter would have been launched and it would take it out, but surprisingly the drone AI with the combat block is that accurate that it cockpits quite a lot of the drones. So if you are unlucky enough to be the human pilot, then you are dead. If it's an AI drone, it might last a little bit longer and might be able to take out one of these, but they are surprisingly accurate and they can quickly identify a target that's approaching them, work together to take it out, just like you saw there. So some of you also might be asking the question, could you do this with the assault cannon? The answer is yes, you could, but the reason the railgun is far more effective is due to ammo capacity. We can fit 15 rounds in a small cargo container like this, where we can only fit 4 assault cannon rounds, and since this is, I guess you could call it a loiter munition, it does loiter around and keep shooting, we want as much ammo capacity as possible so it can continue shooting till it runs out or is destroyed. Where this one, for instance, might last, let's say we've got 4 or 5 cargo containers in there, so we've got about 20 rounds, we can have about 3-4 times the amount in this one, so it can loiter longer. The railgun also has the advantage as it shoots a straighter trajectory, so it means that it can intercept enemy fighters that are coming towards it, and a single shot will take out an enemy cockpit. You can say the same with the assault cannon, but the assault cannon's likeliness to actually hit is a lot less. But anyway, we'll fire these both up and we'll send them to attack this base. So it's super simple how these guys are wired up. You've got yourself the movement block and you've got the offensive block. The offensive block, we'll go into the details of the offensive block right now. So I don't really use the sort of loiter function on many of them, the circle/orbit attack pattern, but for long distance artillery based drones, this is exactly what you want. So the range of the railgun is 1,400, so I've just set it to 1,300 here, so it should work, and we'll get these both kicking off. These are both out of the range. There we go, toggle block on, that's going to engage, and then we'll go and toggle this one on. Make sure everything's been enabled correctly. So both the railgun and the assault cannon variants have been enabled. So you can see the assault cannon's coming in, the railgun's coming in with a much straighter trajectory, and they're both set up to target turrets. So that was quite a nice shot from the assault cannon on the turret. And the reason for that is as they wheedle down the turrets, it gives us an opportunity to come and attack, because the turrets is what's going to do the majority of the damage to us. Oh, was that one intercepted? So you'll have to let me know as well, is which do you prefer? Do you prefer the assault cannon or the railgun mounted to these little drones? What do you think would be more effective in the long term? You've got more ammo capacity with the railgun's still shooting. The autocannon, or the assault cannon, sorry, has actually run out of ammunition. It's fired all 4 shots and that's out of the game. So I thought it'd be nice to test these out with some drone-on-drone combat. So here in front of us we have our drone drifters, our DRF ship, that is designed to pretty much give the players a little bit of a tussle, a little bit of a challenge. So let's see if, let's say 10 of these railgun ships can do anything. And at the same time, AI is going to be active on both, so we'll see. Okay, so the battle is underway. We've got just under 10 of the smaller ships, and it looks like the drifters are starting to respond. I'm not too sure if the railguns have already gutted that one, but one of the drifters is now heading towards the other little blips. It just looks like railguns coming out of the abyss, doesn't it? So if these drifters do get close, the missile launchers and turrets will open up. We'll see if they're actually worthy. Okay, so they're taking out some of the little drones. It won't take much to finish these drones off. But if even if these can put up a small fight against these larger drones, you can see how they're trying to back off. They're trying to get that distance from them. Oh, look at that. That's some serious damage on that first drifter. And all the AI is kicking into full action. You can see that the railgun drones are trying their best to sit at a distance, because at a distance they are safe. If they get too close, they get absolutely shredded, a bit like this one is. But you can see that there's two drifters here that are actually struggling to keep up with these small little drifters, and this one that is following them is getting absolutely laid into by railgun fire. Yeah, it's getting railguns right across the bow. Some of them are backing off into the distance over there. You can only see a few of them. Engine bay cut straight off by a railgun. How cool is that? So they are holding their own. They are really holding their own against these larger ships. And of course, if you're a player ship and you got ambushed by a group of these, God, there'd be a headache to deal with. Yeah, it'd be an absolute headache to deal with. So it's trying its best to intercept some, but I don't know if the AI is just struggling, or they've crippled it that hard that quickly. So yeah, let's just say it didn't go too well for the drifters in this one. The railguns have really made some serious damage. They've kept at the range like the settings that we set up for them. And they've slowly just weeded away at the engines on the drifters that have made them drift forward, drift back, try to remain some sort of control. But as you can see, there's still railgun rounds coming in, and the drifters just can't do anything about it. Let's try this up on a larger ship, maybe like a capital or a frigate, something a bit more meaty, and see what they do against that. So for this final scenario, I wanted to do something a bit special. Here we have a horde of railgun drones. They're painted up in the DRF paint scheme, and they're going to be defending this DRF sort of lava pit relay. Now up here we have ourselves the ASI carrier with the launching AI that we had before. So we're going to launch this AI. Here we go. Activate the launch sequence. And there's going to be a giant battle ensuing down there. These fighters have been programmed to launch and activate their AI and try to engage some of these little towers that are at these locations. So let's see if everything's working. Okay, it looks like we've got drones launching. They're picking their targets. I'm hoping we don't have any carrier incidents. Okay, we've got a lone fighter going in at first. We're going to have a little bit of lag as some of these fighters launch. Let's see if them drones start to respond once they come in range. Looks like it's going to be an easy target. Oh, missiles are coming in from that first fighter that's launched. Oh, some big hits. Big hits. Oh, railguns. Railguns have responded. They do not like that little fighter. Let's see what's happening. Okay, that little fighter seems to have avoided much of the fire and is heading towards the horde of railguns, dodging as many shots as it possibly can. Oh, it's getting very, very lucky. Maybe it's just the speed of the fighter with the hydrogen engines. It's able to really navigate around. So it's probably going to turn around and recommit its targeting. Have any of the other fighters launched from the carrier just yet? Yeah, it looks like we've got a horde of 3 fighters coming in now. Alright, we'll see how good these railgun drones are at defending a location. Yeah, missiles are coming in. Yeah, missile strikes are going in. A bit of damage that first array. All the railgun drones have been caught up trying to intercept this fighter up here. Oh, and it's been hit. It's been hit really hard by the look of it. Yeah, they're continuing to fire as many rounds as possible, but that one fighter has bought the others some time, and they're using it All the ASI fighters now are going in and striking. This is what's so amazing about this automations update. It basically changes it so you can make your own multiplayer scenarios and play them out yourself, almost like a bit like an RTS game, and test out different factors. So all the drones are targeting the wreckage, or what was left of the wreckage of that one, and they're doing a horrible job at the moment of defending. They do seem to be trying to intercept some of the ASI fighters that are on the return run. So as they're on that hit and run sort of attack, you can see they're trying to get intercepted. Railguns are missing. I was preaching before saying how accurate these railguns are, but they seem to be doing a horrible job at intercepting these fighters as they maneuver around. So far this is a really unclear battle. The fighters are doing the best they can, and they are doing some damage to a few of the drones. The drones are also doing the best they can, and they're doing quite a bit of damage to the actual fighters themselves. You can see the fighters here are having some serious engine issues. They've also been clipped quite a few times. This one's struggling to navigate. We'll continue moving around. But there is some fighters that are just streaming through the action and all the mess that's going on around them, and hitting some of these drones as accurately as they can, just forcing them out the sky. Really cool to see. So now that we're at the later stages, the battle is not going super well for the fighters. The fighters have taken many hits and are continuing to do so. Oh, big hit to the rear there. So as you can see, they're slowly getting weeded out by the amount of drones that are up and around in the air. I feel like if there was only a handful of these drones, the fighters probably would have took them out quite quickly. They are eliminating a few of the drones, and some of the drones are damaged due to attacks from the fighters. But due to the amount, and pretty much a 2-to-1 ratio of these drones, even though they just have a single railgun, they are doing very well against the fighters. Hang on, we've got a fighter over here launching a strike. Is it going to be able to impact it? Is it going to be able to take it out at all? Gatling gun fire is going down. Parts are falling off the drone. Ooh, but it looks like the fighter was hit at the same time. So there you go. Railgun mini drones. Have a play around, let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I will see you next time.